take that one. You take this one. There we go. Check. Okay, it's back on. It's back on. Sir, how are you doing today?
I can just get in this chair.
I mean, listen, I would fire that chair in a heartbeat. Say less. You don't give Ron Perlman a hard time. What's wrong with you? Change better than this. Sir, we're so happy to have you here in Toronto with us. It is truly an honor. How many fans do we have in the room right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How has the show been for you this weekend?
Well, Toronto's always a favorite place to come back to for me. Like great memories.
Absolutely.
My friend Guillermo del Toro. Won't shoot anywhere else.
Hey, it's got good taste.
On the regular.
Love it.
And anytime you can get a really, really strong drink and a perfect steak, it's okay by me. Well, welcome to the United States.
Listen.
We're really happy to have you. I hope you like being had. Join the club.
I love it. Listen, he's not wrong, okay?
He's not wrong.
I would love to kind of start at kind of a beginning space for you. And I gotta ask you about the play Guys and Dolls. And yeah, that's right. First of all, it's classic.
Dude, I've taken a lot of acid since then. Accurate, I'll be.
As I understand it, the story goes, your dad saw you in a college production of Guys and Dolls and saw something in your performance where he implored that you have to stick with this. What was it like to have a performance that a parent saw this joy, this talent that you clearly bring out for so many different things, to have them respond to that? What was that like for you?
Well, it was a really big deal because my dad had grown up during the Depression, as had my mom, and so they were from this generation of just play it really safe, just get a college degree, get yourself a regular job, don't mess around, the economy is a fickle thing. And here I am doing this opening weekend in college, so it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 shows. My family comes to the Thursday show, and then I come out from backstage in the Friday show, and my dad is there all by himself. And I said, Dad, what are you doing here, man? I didn't know you were coming. I'm going out with some friends and stuff. He goes, No, I'm good. I'm gonna go home. I just wanted to check one thing out. And the next day we go for a ride in the car, and he pulls the car over on the side of the road and he says, you have to do this. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, the reason why I came back last night to watch you is because this is what you're supposed to do. And he was dead 6 months later, so it was almost like a deathbed when somebody gives you instructions on their deathbed. You fucking follow me. For him to advise me to get into a business that was so risky and so nothing was guaranteed. Very few people who try to get into it ever have any success at all, much less make a living at it, was a big, big deal. And once he said that to me, there was no looking back ever.
Make some noise for that, y'all. What I love about that is it does step out of the practical mind of parents to try to, keep their kids as safe as possible. He saw the truth of what you brought out and pushed you forward. I thank him for everything that you've given us because of that, because you never quit, no matter how hard Hollywood ever got. So thank you and thank him for that, sincerely.
Well, look, if you really want to get the skinny, I wrote a memoir about 15 years ago, and it's called Easy Street, the Hard Way.
Yes.
And I'm selling them out of the trunk of my car. Those of you who mentioned that you were here today, I'll give you a special deal, no tax. The whole first 4 chapters are just about my dad and the influence he had on me, and the revere he had for movies and the storytelling and the effect it had on. He was a laborer. He worked with his hands. he would come home at night and watching him watch movies and watch all of the tension melt away from him, and all this emotion on his face was, he was my biggest influence of anything that ever happened to me in this life in terms of what my values are, how I think about manhood, how I think about legacy, how I think about everything. So you read that book, you'll get a real insight into what he meant to me. Really, he was gone. He was 49 years old when he died. I was 19.
You've lived a wonderful life in his honor, and you shine all of his accolades through. It's absolutely amazing. You brought so many different characters to life. I got to talk about one of my favorites, in Beauty and the Beast. You played and I have to know, like, straight up, what was that makeup process like to create that visage?
Well, I had already done 2 movies in heavy makeup. One was, the first movie I ever made was Quest for Fire. That was a 4-hour makeup job. And then for that same filmmaker, I did Name of the Rose, also a 4-hour makeup job. So, strangely enough, guess how many hours it took to put on the Beast? You said 4, you So I was no stranger to that process, but I was also very in need as a young actor of hiding behind a mask because I was very self-conscious. It's not a very good thing to be self-conscious if you're an actor, but if you have a mask to hide behind where you no longer look like yourself, you're transformed into another being before you even open your mouth, you feel like you're safe. And that was what enabled me to give the early acting performances. As I got more comfortable with myself as I grew older, I didn't need the makeup as much, and so, I actually can act now, just like this. But it took a while, it took a lot of therapy, and a few acid trips. I'm not gonna lie.
It can be therapeutic too, I'm with that. Can you tell us what role you took on where you really felt like you did have that acting down, where the mask was no longer needed?
I don't know, it was so gradual. I feel as though it took me all the way to my 50s to get momentum. I did a lot of really cool things between 23, when I got out of grad school, and 50. But there were always 3 years in between where I had no work. So it was like stop and start. And it was really struggle to get any kind of work at all. And then when I hit 50, things started to happen with more frequency, happen with more regularity. And right at the beginning of my 50s, I did this role of Clay Morrow. There was no makeup for that role, but he was more of a monster than any of the guys that I put on 4 hours of makeup to play. So that was probably the first time I realized, okay, I'm naked here, and I better embrace it. I better become comfortable with it and okay with it. There's no hiding.
No, you brought it all with Clay. Do we have any Sons of Anarchy fans in the room? Love it. There's writers over here. That show changed people in their understanding of who they were by the portrayals that you guys brought out. Was there any other actors on set for that series that really kind of changed you even with what their performance brought out?
Well, I'm a big fan of Kim Coates.
Yes.
He's one of the finest actors I've ever worked alongside. He's one of the finest actors that I've seen. And by watching his process, watching how deep he goes and how authentic he gets, my hat's off.
Absolutely brilliant. Love him in that series as well. When it came to riding, though, obviously you guys are on motorcycles all the time. Was there any moments for you where kind of riding was a little hairy, a little scary?
All of them.
All of them. You look so comfortable there.
Yeah, I was being pulled on the truck. If you notice, the camera only had me from here up. It was like one of a rig being pulled by a fucking truck. I didn't get along with the bikes. The bikes didn't get along with me. pussy on the set. My proudest acting achievement is making you think.
Am I alone in this? Okay. Listen, I would have thought you were born on the bike the way you handled that one. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so a lot of your career, though, has been related to comic books. Are you much of a comic book fan?
No.
Now, hold on now.
The only comic book I ever read from cover to cover was Hellboy because I had to. So we'll start with Hellboy and we'll work our way around because there's so many comic booky things that you've done. So with Hellboy, yes, hello. Somebody has a gastro.
Somebody else is a
Is
fan
there a
of
doctor in the house?
With Hellboy, obviously there's a lot of makeup done with that one. Was that still part of the 4-hour norm, or was that a little bit more extensive?
That was toward the end of it.
Okay.
I had already dabbled in non-makeup roles by then, but I didn't play Hellboy 1 until I was 53 years old. And then Hellboy 2, I was 57. So I was not only the prettiest superhero you've ever seen, but also the oldest. I think there was humor there.
It's all true. It was all true. What is it about Hellboy that you connected with so well?
The paycheck. Really.
That's true.
Being the paycheck was like this. Guillermo del Toro, true story, fought for 7 years to get me the role of Hellboy. Nobody who was going to spend that kind of money wanted this guy.
What?
Because I wasn't a movie star. I was a pretty okay character actor, but I was never going to be the guy who was the top above the title and got all the financing in place because I was such a big box office draw. I was a character actor. But Guillermo was so insistent on it being me that he let one studio fall by the wayside, another studio almost fell by the wayside, and then we did Blade 2 together. And the week after Blade 2 opened, he was so sought after that he said, if I'm ever going to pull this off with Perlman, it's going to be now. Right. Sure enough, that week he got Hellboy, but it took him 7 years. Incredible. And I've never seen a director stick to a concept to his own detriment like that. I owe him everything.
Absolutely. When you have a filmmaker that has that kind of vision and you execute on it, I mean, do you feel any sort of, I don't know, I want to call it pressure, but kind of a need to perform as best as possible, knowing what he went through to get that done? Did that kind of inspire your performance?
No, I mean, pressure is one word for it. The real word for it is obligation. I felt an obligation
yes, sir.
to prove to the world that his fight was not in vain, that his fight was justified. And no small amount of pressure as well. But anybody here read the Hellboy comics? He has no personality in the comics. He speaks in one-word sentences. And in order to make him into a movie character, Guillermo had to find a model, to create his speech patterns, his values, his the way he moved through the world. And since Hellboy was a superhero who also was an underachiever and who would rather stay in his little cave with his 56 cats, right, eat pizza, and hang out in his stinky socks and watch the Marx Brothers movies and the Three Stooges, he'd rather do that than save the world. He said, "Oh, Perlman is the model." I've never met a bigger degenerate in my life. This guy has some skills, but he prefer not to use them. He prefer to stay home and just fucking scratch his nuts and watch TV and eat pizza. And so it was the easiest role I ever played because I was playing me.
Now, Hellboy famously has a thing for pancakes. There was a whole story where...
That was the part where he took a little poetic touch.
Okay.
In the comic books, Mike Mignola had him liking pancakes. So I'm not a big fan of gay guy.
All right. I was gonna ask.
Bacon and eggs guy.
Hey, absolute classics. Now, speaking of superhero stuff, where you didn't necessarily have to get in a costume, but the magic of your voice was your vehicle. You played characters like Clayface, Slade, Deathstroke, the Terminator, huge characters for the comic book fans out there. When it came to doing Clayface, Batman the Animated Series changed the game for so many different people. What was that experience like to get that role?
I was working with those same. I got into animation like probably the early '90s, and I started working with the best directors and the best studios that were doing cartoons, either Saturday cartoons or more specialized kind of like feature film kind of thing. And so I got on a lot of people's lists, like when it came time for casting a role, they thought of me. And I think that's basically what happened. I was working, the person who was directing that Batman series, I'd worked with a lot, and they just threw me this Clayface character, and I looked at it and I went, Jesus Christ, this guy's messed up. Why did you think of me? So I guess that's how.
I love that. Of those pieces, do you have a favorite episode that you were part of?
No. I don't think I saw it.
Really?
No, I like to stick and move.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm from the Muhammad Ali school of acting. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
That's what I'm talking about. I love it. You're missing out though. You got to watch you in these things because they are absolutely.
I'll take your word for it, bro. You probably like me better than I would.
I personally love you, actually.
Thank you. I think I love you.
But when it comes to video games, you've done a lot of video game voice acting as well. And I gotta know, like, are you
prove the fact that I'll do anything?
Or that there's very brilliant people that know that you're the best voice for so many different roles, especially when it comes to anything that is, I don't want to say a bad guy, we'll say antagonistic. You have such a great timbre that carries a sense of menace but dedication to it. And when it comes to video games, that's a fun place to kind of be a little ultra-violent from time to time. Is that something that you kind of get to bring out for yourself? Like there's some frustrations, you're like, oh, this is the role.
Well, yeah, I'm fundamentally a very angry Jew. I got a lot of righteous indignation. So playing bad guys is like, lording over people and, living in this fantasy world where I can take you out like Chinese food, It appeals to me.
I love it. Now, with that reference, your role in Drive, you really brought that same energy out there, and you were so dynamic in your threatening nature. I wanted to be you and then run away from you all at the same time.
Me too. That's kind of like daily for me.
Okay, all right.
Be me and then run away from me.
That to me. But playing against someone like Albert Brooks in that role, what was that like?
Well, he was a hero of mine, so it was a little intimidating. And I basically just tried to be very quiet around him because every once in a while he would kind of break into one of these kind of stream of consciousness, kind of like what genius comedians do. And they start on some sort of a riff on life. And by the end of the day, I would say, who do I pay for this experience? It was like being at the coolest comedy club in the world working alongside him.
Absolutely amazing. So sometimes in your roles, you're a bit of a rule breaker, and I think we're gonna break some rules today. Throughout the weekend, we have not been doing live audience questions, and we're gonna change that right now. So you guys can line up here. There's a microphone on this side of the pole. You get to ask Mr. Ron Perlman a question directly. But before we get started with that, come on up. Yeah, we're gonna get some time for folks to get up here. I gotta give a shout out to Amber. Hi, Amber. How are you? You are okay? Excellent. Amber, I hear it's your 40th birthday? Guys, can we all say happy birthday to Amber one time? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amber. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, guys. Absolutely brilliant. Hello, friend. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Rachel,
Hey, Rachel.
and I wanted to circle back around to Guillermo del Toro briefly. You worked with him on Kronos, but I guess earlier in both of your careers, and then came back for Hellboy. So I was hoping you could talk a bit about what it was like to work with him earlier, and then a little bit later when you both get more established, but more legendary.
So Kronos was his first movie. He was 26 years old. He'd never made a movie before. And he had come to Hollywood to learn, study prosthetics, special effects and makeup, because he made so many monstrous stuff in Mexico. But there were no shops down there. There were no artists down there that could realize his vision. So he had to learn how to do it himself. He studied under Rick Baker. He studied under Stan Winston, Dick Smith, all the great special effects makeup artists. And I'm in so much of that stuff that he decided to ask me to be in his first movie, almost like as a good luck charm. And from the very first time we broke bread together, we realized we're not just meant to be collaborators on a film. We're like brothers. We're big fat fucking slobs. We eat all the wrong shit. We laugh at all the wrong stuff. He's like a genius who's actually a 13-year-old. And we developed this thing where he basically, as he went on, he took me along with him the whole way, including to right this day.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Cool Nadi.
Cool.
Hi, Ron. I did have a
Cool
question.
name.
Yeah. Thanks. I came here to the convention because there's a lot of voice actors here. And I wanted to ask you specifically about voice acting, if you had any insight. One iconic character that you kind of did for me that your voice popped out was in the game Torah.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to talk with Adam Beach and how he went through the game playing the character as Torah, you know, and in the Native community, I mean, like the voice actors in that game is a big hit within our communities.
What was the name of the game?
It was Torah.
Yeah.
Torah is kind of like a dinosaur.
When you say I was in it, I believe you.
The acid kicking back in.
Yeah. So I guess I got kind of a fun question for you. One, do you
I sure hope so.
do you sing?
Does he sing?
Yes.
You're gonna ask him to sing?
Well, I
No.
was gonna say it's karaoke night. What song are you singing?
Okay, there we go.
The only thing I cover in karaoke bars is Sinatra.
Oh.
Very cool. Everything else, everybody else, nobody touches my Sinatra.
That's what I'm talking about. Make some noise for that if you want to go do some karaoke. Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you. That's awesome. Hello, what's your name? What's your question?
My name is Malcolm Jack.
Hey, Malcolm.
Hi, Mr. Perlman. Thank you for coming today. It's really an honor to have you. I was wondering, when a character like Hellboy is not someone you can relate to directly, how do you begin to approach and break down the role?
I think my main prerequisite to accepting a role is I have to at least understand them. I don't have to relate to him, but I have to understand. I have to understand how he became the way he is. And it's usually psychology, why he is the way he is, why we find him the way he is when we read the screenplay. If I don't feel like I understand him, I don't play him because I would fail. I know I would fail. The character that I played, believe it or not, that I understood the least was Clay Morrow.
Yeah.
Because even though I wore no makeup and looked like me, I didn't understand his values. I didn't understand his violence. I didn't understand his ruthlessness. But I said to myself, if I don't take this fucking gig, I'm the biggest pussy in the world. So, I had this angel on the shoulder and this devil on the shoulder. The devil was like,
Don't take the part, you'll stink out the joint.
the angel was going, "You fucking pussy." The angel cursed more than
watch a movie of those two characters.
I'm gonna get to work, man. I think I already have. But anyway, I played him because I thought it'd be a stretch. And I thought it would be sometimes good to be in an uncomfortable place as an actor where you're really working hard to close the gap between what your skill set is, the skill set of the character you're playing.
Well said, well said. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Hello, what's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name's Joel.
Hey, Joel.
So, my favourite role that you've ever done is voice acting the Lich from Adventure Time. I think that is one of the most.
It's another one I don't remember doing.
It's going to make this question fall flat then, probably. I think the Lich is one of the most intimidating animated characters of all time. If there is any element of that you do remember, I was wondering kind of how much you brought kind of how much of that intimidation you brought and how much was asked of you.
It was on the page. It was just my job, to like I said, the actor he looks at what he's supposed to be bringing to life, and he gets a real feel for what that person moves through the universe doing. And then he takes everything he knows about those conditions and closes the gap. And when you're really doing your best performance, there's no daylight between the two. But yeah, that was definitely on the page. And that, when I come to these things, probably 30% Hellboy, 30% Sons of Anarchy, and 35% miscellaneous. But the Lich, people really like shoving pictures of the Lich in front of me.
Absolutely.
I don't remember doing the fucking
It's a great character.
It really
Check
is.
yourself out.
But it's so sad to have lost this many of my faculty.
Or it's just a great opportunity for you now to watch Adventure Time. That's put a little positive spin on that.
Well, I was going to do on the rocking chair on the board.
One day, you're busy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What part of New Jersey are you from?
What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Gibson.
Hey, Gibson.
First of all, I just want to say, huge fan of almost everything you've done.
Almost?
No, sorry,
I agree, huh?
unfortunately, I've not watched.
There's a lot of real shit in there.
Unfortunately, I've not watched Sons of Anarchy yet.
I remember doing Sons of
It's on
Anarchy.
my list. No, I've always been a fan of monsters, creatures, and practical effects and stuff like that. Like, obviously with Hellboys, both of them are two of my favorite movies, especially the second one. And the two animated Hellboy movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was wondering, is there even the slightest chance that if there was going to be, and I know we would all love a live action, third Hellboy movie, but if that's, never possibly going to happen.
Look, I'm 75 years old. And, but if Guillermo called and said, we're doing the third of the trilogy, and that's the only conditions I would do it. It has to be the third of the trilogy, because it was meant to be 3 movies.
Yes.
You see at the end of the second movie, there are nothing but questions. All of the answers don't come to the third one. That's why I've been a pain in the ass all these years saying, we need to do it for the fans, we need to do it. And I would do it today, if But I don't have enough money to produce it. So can we start a crowdfunding?
We will totally start crowdfunding.
Would you donate all your birthday money?
If there was a chance for maybe an animated version of,
Fuck that, no.
what-
I'm not coming back to Hellboy unless the third and final movie in the trilogy.
Live action.
Well, we actually get to see This is the seed of destruction.
Yes.
This is an entity that was sent to the earth to destroy the world, but he's been raised to save it. Which one is going to win out?
Yep, absolutely.
And that third movie would have been epic.
Will be. We put it out there. Listen, thank you so very much. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Hello. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Alyssa, and I used to go
Yeah, you can put the
watch.
mic down. There you go.
I grew up watching like Hellboy.
Wait, say that one more time.
I used to watch Hellboy as a kid
Yeah.
with my dad, and I mostly knew him because of that.
Of course.
But my question is that what role would you like to like do if you like hold up?
Take your time.
What was like one role that you wish to do again if you had the chance to?
So not Hellboy. Another role that you would like to come back to if you got a chance.
I'm just interested in moving on, you know, like, I love almost all the characters, the more famous characters that I play. I love these guys. I could spend more time with any of them. But in the last year, now that I'm a grandpa, I'm playing people who kind of are looking back and like, you know, like I'm playing very interesting roles. And I'm looking forward to like what's next, more than coming back to do something I've already done.
Thank you for that. Hello.
Hi, my name is Haley.
You always come with your own photography?
Um,
You have a publicist?
I just want to let you know that Hellboy is basically like a cultural event in my household. It's on TV. We're sitting down, we're watching it. There's always a mood to watch Hellboy.
Of course.
But I know that you did the 2, possibly the 3, holding out for that movie. I wanted to know kind of like which one was your favorite to film? Which one did you struggle through a little bit? Stunt-wise, heavy hand, walking around, those big ass boots.
So every movie you do is filled with both. The highs and the lows are there. They're just gonna be. Filmmaking is really complicated, and some days it's just really fucked up, man. Nothing goes right, and you struggle, you know, and you don't feel like you have it, but you still gotta give and give and give. And then there are some days where it's like you're in the zone, everything can be beautiful. That's the way it is. I mean, doing the first Hellboy, the fact that Guillermo pulled off getting it made for me, that was kind of like, the whole thing was like walking on, you know, miles above the earth, you know, like, then doing the second one, which meant we were popular enough in the first one to get a second one, was special for its own set of reasons. So yeah, I love both, intensely love both of them for completely different reasons.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Who's taking your picture?
Hi. Nobody, I don't need a publicist.
And the publicist.
So, first of all, both of my parents love you. My dad is right there
Hi, Dad.
with his phone up.
Love it. Publicist.
Yeah, he doesn't get paid, he pays me.
He doesn't think you're important enough to stand up for it.
Yeah, he looks like he can chill out here. What's your question?
I did a little preamble before it. One of your most iconic roles for me is actually Hannibal Chow in the Pacific Rim movie.
That's right. That's right.
I loved it so much. So other than like the main 2, like Hellboy and Sons of Anarchy, which do you think would be like your most iconic role?
Ooh, great question.
I couldn't possibly pick one because there are so many that I deeply, deeply feel akin to. I mean, there's never going to be a role that I'm more fascinated by and close to than the Beast and Beauty and the Beast. But then Hellboy comes, and then Sons comes, and it just keeps happening over and over. So I can't. I'm not being like political here, but I can't. There's no way I can pick.
No, I get it.
But Hannibal had the best shoes, though.
Right.
His shoes.
The line at the end is really what sold it for me.
Okay, can I tell a story?
Please.
Yes.
Make time for this.
So when I arrived to the set the day they're gonna kill Hannibal Chow, he's gonna get eaten by a kaiju, whatever they call them.
Kaiju.
And we're getting ready to rehearse and stuff. And, you know, the whole crew is assembled to watch what we're gonna do to rehearse, so they know where to put the lights and the camera. And I said to Guillermo, you know, it's not too late to change your mind. I said, what are you talking about? Come on, you know. He goes, no, I don't know. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't change my mind about anything. I go, well, you know, you haven't killed me yet, so it's not too late to change your fucking mind. What are you talking about? You're dying today, bro. I know. I read the script. Everybody here knows we're shooting my death scene. You're really making a huge mistake. You know that, right? He goes, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm gonna be the most popular character in the fucking movie. If you kill me, you're cutting off your own legs. He goes, oh, now I'm really going to kill you. So we finish that day. I go home. 6 months later, I get a call from Guillermo, comes to his house for dinner. I open the door. He opens the door. I ring the bell. He opens the door and he goes, fuck you. What? He goes, the studio just tested the movie and you're the most popular. No, we have to reshoot it to make it so that you don't die. Look, I'm not one to say I told you.
I was about to ask, is that why in the end he comes back?
Yeah. I cut my way out of the
That's
car.
right.
Hey, where's my shoe?
That's right. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This movie's so much better. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Laura. So I first fell in love with you as the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, and I have absolutely enjoyed Hellboy and Sons of Anarchy. But one of my guilty pleasure favorites is a smaller role when you were Lord Morton in The King's Guard with Eric Roberts. And I was
I
just
didn't think anybody saw that.
way too often. I was just
I think that movie made $14. I'm searching for that sucker. Put down the 14.
I absolutely love it, and I still own the DVD, which is not something I keep.
Wow, so it was at least $25.
So I was just wondering if there was anything that you remember from doing sort of the period costumes in with Eric Roberts in it.
Well, we've already established how bad my memory is.
I know, that's why I was just thinking if there's anything you remember from filming that movie.
I'm sorry, darling, just nothing. I think I looked really, they put me in like,
You looked
I was dressed like some sort of a musketeer. I was a mouseketeer.
Very dashing.
But no, it was absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. Guys, we got an assignment. We gotta go all watch this movie now.
No, you don't.
What's your name? What's your question?
Hey Ron, my name's Matt. Big fan of Sam Pro and your role as Clay in Sons of Anarchy. Really interested. A couple years ago, I had the privilege and pleasure of meeting Charlie, Ryan, Theo, the group here when they came to FANEXPO. And I saw their conversation where Charlie indicated there might be some plans to get the original gang back together. Can you speak to that? Is there any plans for a first nine? Do you keep in touch with the guys? And what was it like working with all of them?
I do keep in touch with them, mostly through these. We do a lot of these together. There was something rumbling around. I don't think it's still rumbling. It's definitely not first nine. And if it was, they'd be using much younger actors.
Who would you cast as your younger self?
My younger self? Jesus Christ. Problem is, I don't have any respect for you. You know, these fucking young kids. You're in the movie industry now. Come on.
Ron, tell me how you feel.
I don't think most of them can shave yet. You know, get me to care about their love lives. No, I pass.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
My name's Anson. I gotta say that my mom and my stepdad loved you in Sons of Anarchy. I personally haven't watched it, but I probably will at some point because I watch anything that you're in.
You have to.
Even Mutant Chronicles.
Hey, big shout out to Mutant Chronicles. Yeah.
Terrible movie, but he makes it way better. I gotta say, is there someone that you specifically will watch, go out of your way to watch, even if you think the movie's terrible?
Oh, there's a lot of actors that I'll watch in bad movies. Not too many that are working now, but from back in the day. I mean, I'm a big fan of the guys from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. You know, the Kirk Douglases and the Burt Lancasters and the Cagneys and the Bogarts and stuff. Cary Grant. I would watch those guys, any movie that they were in. I would stop traffic. You know, I'm channel surfing. If I get to some black and white with one of those guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm calling people and going, I can't make it tonight. I just have a tummy ache.
Thank you guys. We got just over 5 minutes left for this panel, so we'll try to get through everybody that we can. Hello.
Hi, my name's Gabrielle.
Hey, Gabrielle.
So I just wanted to ask, you said you began from sort of very humble beginnings, doing stage plays. So in the future, as somebody who might want to go into a career like yours, maybe doing monster movies because they are a favorite of mine, and yes, I am a huge Hellboy fan as well. What kind of advice would you give for somebody who wants to go through with that?
Just do it. I mean, it's like Nike, man. Just do it. You know, it's like, if you want to be an actor, you find things to act in. You find a community play to act in. You go to your local university, look for signs of student films that they're trying to make, and you just act. And the more you act, the more you learn the craft. And the more you learn the craft, the more people see you acting, the more you're inviting the universe to let you in. And I think if you just do that doggedly and religiously, at least you got a shot.
Thanks, Mr. That's beautiful. Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
That mic probably comes off, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe it doesn't.
Great. It's attached.
We didn't pay full price for the mic.
My name's Carolyn. Ron. You'll always be Clay to me, I'm sorry.
You can call me anything you want.
You've always played such amazing, deep, intensely dramatic roles. Even when you were playing goofy characters, you were still very deep and in your play, except for the tip. and I bring it up because it caused me to go from being a monster movie always to actually being interested in superheroes and some of the other comic type books other than, Superman and, Hellboy. And I was just wondering, what caused you to want to do comedy and do it so amazingly well?
The very first thing I ever did is comedy. In New York, I actually I played a few nights of stand-up comedy in these kind of discotheques and clubs in New York. I was horrible. But when I found out you could apply acting skills on stage and not have people throw vegetables and fruit at you because it's not just you, you're in a play that somebody wrote. But all I did in New York was comedy, and it was mostly sketch comedy. It was like, the stuff you see on Saturday Night Live. And when I moved to Hollywood in 1985, they looked at me and they just saw this like awkward looking dude, big kind of dude, and they just gave me nothing but bad guy parts. And if I want to do a comedy, I almost have to work for free in order to convince them that I can do it, you know. But that's my first love. I think that's my strongest suit. And I'm doing more of it now than ever before. I mean, think about it, you know, there weren't any superheroes funnier than Hellboy.
It's true. It's true.
He was a hoot. So yeah, comedy, baby.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Two more. I think you can do it. Can you get through everything?
I love your dog.
So sweet. Hello, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Chris.
Hello.
My question is just going off of talking about characters of the past, bad guys of the past. I've always wanted to know whether it's animation, live action, whatever the case may be, what sort of villain, what iconic villain would you enjoy playing in the future?
Iconic villain. I just like people who are wired weirdly, you know, like that's why I'm never gonna play anything straight down in the middle. It's either gonna be a very good person or a very bad person. But I'll leave the middle part to everybody else. I like extreme behavior. I'm fascinated by people who are wired weirdly. And in order to learn how to play them, it's almost like why people do crossword puzzles or people do Rubik's Cubes, you know. It engages you, it challenges you, and that's why I love it. And so there's no specific kind of bad guy. It's just, he's got to be interesting, he's got to be multi-dimensional, and you know, he's got to have some sort of a reason why he's as evil as he is.
Right.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last question. Take us on home. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jess.
Hey, Jess.
I am a huge fan of Fallout, and so I was wondering if you remember anything about your time with that franchise. How that
I like
kind
how
of...
you phrased it. Is there anything you remember, Ron? Earlier this week.
Yeah, I was just wondering kind of how that all started, because it's pretty different from a lot of the stuff that you've done over the years.
Well, it was during the 90s where I started doing a lot of voiceover stuff. Animated shows, and then animated shows led to being asked to do video games. And I get a call for this video game called Fallout. They'd never made one before. And it was like, I think they paid me $40 and a sandwich.
Wow.
And we did it. And it was like, it had the line, war never changes. But I'm not a gamer. I walked through the script, I did my thing, I went home, and like a year and a half later, my agent calls and said, "Do you remember when you had this thing Fallout?" And I go, "No." It's this huge hit through the roof. It's like they're making a second one. And then I ended up doing the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. So it's just one of those where it's just like one of those rare things that actually, you know, resonates.
If you were offered a part in the show, would you take it at all?
I can't comment on that.
Make some noise for the absolute legend, Mr. Ron Perlman. Guys, thank you all for joining us. We're going to have you guys exit out both sides of the thing. Both sides are open in the back. You guys have a great time. We'll see y'all